they both know what they want to do, and I think we are ready to do this then. So here we go. I hope everyone has a good time. We're going to sparring ring. It is a mummy mirror match as we get ourselves started. And I'm going to need to switch those names around. There we go. So they're both going red. They're both going parabola. It is a full-on mirror match. Because of course it is. So off we go. Slacks on the left with an immediate first grab on the Yoshi. Yoshi on the right. Both wielding the same brallas. Both rocking the same colored top. So it's vital that you see that you pay attention to which names the sides are on. Another big slam dunk against Yoshi. Slacks knows exactly what they're doing. Gets another shot. Gets another dunk. And that's a very quick first point for Slacks. Slacks starting as they mean to go on. I think both are going to stick with their respective arms. And it's Slacks once again who gets that initial first grab and then gets a counter grab from Yoshi. This is very much a grab match. And both pretty much trading blow for blow here. Both managed to shock each other, both went for a rush that didn't really connect properly, but it's Slacks who was able to at least close the gap that Yoshi started building up, gets Yoshi into critical, gets another shock and a quick 1-2 punch. All they need is one more to take this match, and there it is. Brawler punches through the grab, and the mummy goes down. And the first point of this, the first point goes to Slacks. Naturally, this is how it's usually going, as we now wait to see where we go next. The thing is, you can't really... it's quite hard to judge the performance of stuff when it's a full mirror match, and it's a full mirror match to the extent that it's not only just the same character, it's the same arm set as well. Looks like we're going to a Mausoleum next. Why do I get the feeling that they're both probably going to stick with the same characters? Because it tells me this is going to be one of those kind of matchups. No, Slacks has switched it. So I think Yoshi was probably thinking that Slacks was going to go and keep with the loadout. Yeah, I think Slacks has caught Yoshi unawares there. Yoshi's coming in with only Brawler. Slacks is going to come in with double slaps. So basically we're going for a double Brawler shock and double curvy burn. And so far it's Slacks just about avoiding damage. Does get 2 shocks, but Yoshi isn't able to capitalize on that properly. So... And obviously with the curved nature of these arms, Slacks is going to enjoy getting around the brothers, providing they can hit first. And if Yoshi can score grabs like that, that's exactly what they need. Slacks does have rush, but dashes into another grab, which is unfortunate for him. Rush is going to come out, does catch Master Mummy unawares, and gets a whole load of damage. Does get caught by the slap again, so Yoshi has to be careful. Does have rush available, does take out Pop Arc, but that's not going to bother Slacks too much. That shock might, but the grab just didn't quite make it in time. And now they're both into a KO range, and it's going to be the grab for Slacks that's going to do it. Bark was trying their best to get back up, but it's okay. By the time they got up, Bite had already dealt the finishing blow. Now Slacks is going to be very interesting here. Double Seekies does get the explosion, and the Seekie, whilst it is slow, does make its way and gets the little tap in on Yoshi in the end. Both with rush available now, and the explosion again catches Yoshi, and that It's going to be a big 400 damage for Slacks. Jumps out the way of the upcoming grabs from Yoshi, who is in dire straits here, and again gets caught by the AoE this time. That's what you have to be careful of with those missiles. If it at least hits, the damage can still be absolutely lethal. Rush comes out. Bark takes the hit for Slacks. So no damage in the end, and that is going to be... Oh, Yoshi blocked it in time, and Slacks blew themselves up. I think Slacks got a little too arrogant there. Caught themselves unawares. Certainly didn't need to do that. Yoshi trying to heal up through all of that, but you can't heal too much past those explosions. Slacks does still have health advantage, but they're playing this a little bit more carefully now because they know that Yoshi's wanting to come back into this, and unfortunately is not going to be able to. Drop the shield at the last possible second. The explosion was not quite finished doing its thing yet. Catches the stun, and Slacks is not holding back that time round. That is going to be the 2-0, and Slacks moves onwards. And there we go. So Slacks will move on into round 2. They will go up against Iceman. And Yoshi, I'm afraid, goes down into the underground bracket, but who knows? It might not be the last we see of them. We might see them come through the underground bracket. We've seen it before, so we'll be looking out for that. But GG's to both players there. It's certainly going to be one of the more memey of the matches, and it's nice to get that one in first. And yeah, you saw Slacks using 3 different very styles of arms throughout all of those matches. Obviously, we had the powerballer in the first match on both sides of things, and then into that second set, Slacks not only switched character but switched arms completely. So we got to see 2 shocks, and obviously seeing how different the power and the Seiki is. But obviously both do their electrifying shenanigans, but in a very different way. The brawler is designed to pop out, sort of like deflect things out, and then hit straight. Whereas the Seiki, it curves in its own kind of trajectory path, because it literally is, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It homes in on you. So, and obviously the way that works is that the massive explosion, like if the missile doesn't hit you, the AoE may do so if you're not aware enough for it. And sometimes you saw Yoshi just drop the shield just a little too soon when the explosion still hadn't fully faded away, and that's why they were consistently getting caught out with that shot. It's what you have to be very, very careful of. So we've just got a word that round 2 will be starting up, so we're just gonna get ourselves ready for this, and our match is going to be Junior versus Aloria. And there we go. And that's what happens when you have 2 names that are we go from 2 very long names to 2 very short names, especially in the case of Junior. But, it's good to see the pair of them back in here for another go round. And we'll see how far they make it this time. I don't think Junior took part in the last EU challenge. No, they did not. So Junior wasn't in the last one. Aloria was. Being Slacks 2-0, and then being knocked into the underground by Okrum 2-0, and then was knocked out by Spikier in their first match in the underground. So they're gonna hope that they can go that little bit further, and meanwhile Junior is just, we'll see how far Junior can go this time around. So, and the first map is going to be sparring, so we'll be starting at sparring ring just like we did in the last one. But I think this time around we might be doing a slightly different composition, as you can see there. So no mirror matches this time around. We got Lollipop for Eloria and Kid Cobra for the Junior. And I'm going to need to switch those around again as the match is on the way. And I need to update that scoreline because I didn't update it. So, Alola is going to be coming in with the Burchuck and a Phoenix. Junior is going to come in with the Ram and the Guardian. So, that shield is going to be trying to put as much pressure on Aloria as possible. They do have a Phoenix to fire around it, but if it's up close to you like that, it will get a shock. And Kid Cobra generally plays with that aggressive style, so they're going to look for those opportunities. And already they have such a high health lead. Aloria is not quite able to get back into this just yet. Junior has started off at such a fast pace. And unfortunately, the Burchuck is just not doing anything against that Guardian at the moment. And Junior takes a relatively straightforward first point. Aloria is going to ditch the Burchuck and go for a Roaster. Junior, amusingly enough, also going for a Roaster, but has decided to equip two of them. Aloria is going to come in with a Rush, doesn't get any of it. Junior able to get away from it into a position where they can fire off one of their own and catches Aloria with 320 square on the chest. This is the follow-up grab, but that's okay. They have a massive health lead here. Aloria able to get a couple of hits in, but they need to do more than that. They need to slow this Cobra down as another grab comes in, sends Aloria into critical. The Roaster catches out. Grab just a little too early on that one. But Aloria is just not able to land. I say that, the Phoenix finally does land. Cannot afford to get hit again, and unfortunately jumps straight into Junior's Rush. And that is going to be the first point in this match. But yeah, absolute aggression there from Junior. Just did not slow down at any point. That's what happens when the names are the wrong way around. Gotta readjust them every time. But for Aloria, it was like that first match was a very hard one for them. That's sometimes just the way it goes. We are going to go to Viadol, so we are going to see one of the counter picks coming in. Remember, it's the winner who bans 2 stages, and then the loser is able to pick the next stage. So the counter picks are up, and Viadol is in. We're going to stick with the Lola. We're going to come in with that Roaster and the Burchuck. Junior is going to go for another double arm pick. This time around, it's double Guardian. And that's 180 per grab now. So these are going to be things that Aloria needs to watch out for. And able to somewhat punch through them, but you can't do that all the time. The Guardians are very scary on a stage like this because if they can trap you in a corner, you're going to stay there for most of the game. Aloria able to bounce up and avoid the grab that was coming in and get themselves into position, but then going to need to try and do that more and try and find ways that Junior can't predict it. But unfortunately, Junior coming in with a very quick fire grab. And another one, Aloria bouncing straight back down into it. Both with Rush available. Aloria's going to pop hers, and Junior is just not having any of it. Jumps clean over them, fires in with a grab, keeps their Rush for the second point. And this is very much an uphill battle here for Aloria. Gonna switch up. Yep, we're gonna see Burchuck Phoenix this time around. Junior is going to drop one of the Guardians and go back to the Ram setup. Comes in with the Rush, fires in for a very nice 370. And Aloria stuck in that corner, not for long thankfully. Does get the grab and now tries to force Junior to do so, but Junior's not having any of it. Manages to clip the ankle with the Ram. Comes in with another grab, and you notice that every time they force Aloria into a corner, they try to go for these grab setups. And that's another shock. One more hit will do it. Punches through the grab. Aloria just about able to get the shield up but is not able to protect themselves from the follow-up grab, and that is a very quick 2-0 for Junior. And Junior advances into the semi-finals. Yeah, that was unfortunate for the Laureate. There was not much that they could have done against that. And especially going into the first match on that first point in the second match, where Junior is confident enough to bring in double Guardian, because they know that they can just they've seen how the first match went, and they're like, I can easily keep you in these corners with this. And it's a very scary thing to play through, and that's just how it goes. So our first confirmed player into the semi-finals this time round is Junior. They are in the second semi-final. They will face off against the winner of Grimwood Nillis. That set went so quickly. We are now awaiting results for the other matches. Which, again, that's sometimes just how it goes. Sometimes a match can just be done before you even know it. So once we get news of our next matches, or once we get news of results, we will let you know as soon as possible. But something that I would like to quickly do, if people don't mind, is just quickly mention the fact that, you know, this is our 31st time of running the EU Arms Challenge Series. And, you know, our player count, it fluctuates every now and then. You know, Arms has been out for, you know, a good couple of years now. So it's, you know, people drop out, and then we sometimes get people who are new also want to step in. So if you are watching this today, or if you have ever watched any of the previous challenge tournaments, whether it's been the EU ones or not, and you're thinking about wanting to have a closer look at it, maybe wanting to try it out yourself, there's plenty of ways to do so. There are plenty of communities out there that you can reach out to, and a lot of the players who both are currently taking part and also currently not doing anything, they're more than happy to give out tips and advice. So it's always worth having a look around, having a chat with a couple people. And we've got plenty of ways of being able to reach out to us as well. So obviously you've got all of our media details at the bottom. We've got our Twitter. Pretty much all of our matches that are showed are compacted into highlights, so both the players and everybody else can watch them at a later date if you're not able to watch it live right now. And you're able to examine it that way around and see what people in your region are doing. But you can also do that for, you know, any of the other regions as well, and see and compare them to see what you might want to bring to the table, or what you see that you feel like might be able to do something a little bit different. So it's always a lot of fun, especially with trying out these kind of things. I remember trying to get into it myself, and, you know, the solo ranked mode in Arms is nice enough. I think I've gone up to rank 17, but obviously a lot of the top players around the world, they're hitting 1920s, which are ridiculously high. And obviously a lot of those have been playing the game for not just a long time, but have been playing these games at LAN events, which not everybody was not able to do. So it's definitely give ranked a shot. Like, it definitely helps. But also at the same time, if you sort of like play against a lot of the top level players, you easily learn a lot of things directly from them, because they're not afraid to let you know what you've done right, things that you should work on, because everybody has a strength and a weakness. Like that's a given in any game. Like, there's a lot of top level players who, you know, they're great at what they do, but even they make mistakes, because everybody's human at the end of the day. So it's a good solid community to jump into if this sort of thing is intriguing you. Even if you don't have the game yet and you keep looking at it and going, I keep hearing stuff about it, but, you know, it's not big. Ignore that. Literally ignore that. But you know, this community is still very active, so it's always worth having a look around. We are just waiting on more results to come through. I don't think we've got anything else. We don't have anything else news-wise yet. I think everybody is still playing. I do know that there were some people who were thinking about doing adjustments for tournaments, because obviously most of the tournaments that you see these days are, you know, they're all done in the usual kind of style. Like, you know, our current match list has 5 starter stages and 2 counter picks. There have been some people, I'm in an R in, myself included, about doing stuff where we add a couple stages onto that, but you know, we're still that's still very much a work in progress, and it's nice to see and hear feedback coming from that. Obviously, you know, not every stage is going to come back into this kind of rule setup, and obviously the stages that are currently here at the moment are there because, you know, they're essentially the norm. They are the more fairer stages, the more balanced stages for set characters, for most of the characters, and a good number of arms. And obviously, you know, there's always the arms meta debate, but again, at the same time, everybody has an arm that they do well with more than others. Like, some people will pick up an arm and go, oh, this arm, there are so many better variants than this. But aspects that this arm brings to the table can be used to counter this, or if you play it in this style, it might open up another possibility, which some people have done. Because there are some weapons that people go, why would you use that? And then people are like, well, because it's actually helpful for this situation. So some of them are situational arms, more than others. Like, I know a lot of people who generally use the Scully. And obviously the Scully is the lightest arm in the game. It can pretty much be overpowered by anything. Its main reliance is speed. And depending on the arms that your opponents are using, that can actually work. If an opponent is using a curved arm, for example, the Scully just flies straight, because that's what it does. So, depending on the arm setup and the character that your opponent is going for, the Scully can work. And obviously, if it's charged, it applies the poison stack, and the poison stack can go up to 3, because that's 1 HP of damage, 2 HP of damage, and a 3 HP of damage. And it stutters the character as well, so your opponent would have to try and think of a strategy or an arm setup that would counter this. All round 3 UB brackets will be streamed. Wow, okay. That is impressive to hear that, so that's going to be interesting. Alright, we have our results. We have results coming through right now, and, well. So Iceman beat Slacks 2-0. Yam had a best of 3 fight with Okrim, and that went 2-1 to Yam in the end. Obviously we know Junior beat Aloria 2-0. And Grimwood beat Nellis 2-0. So our semi-finals are as follows. Iceman versus Yam and Junior versus Grimwood. And we will be doing Junior Grimwood first. So let me just get this bolted up. Junior Grimwood. So just get this up to date. We are ready to go. Almost ready to go. And there we are. So in the underground bracket, I should probably alert you now. Nilus and Yoshi Bowser will be fighting off against each other. The winner of that will go on to go up against Loria in the Underground Round 2 match. Meanwhile, Okrim and Slacks will be going up against each other in the Underground Round 2 match themselves. And obviously the winner of those two matches will then advance into Underground Round 3. Then that'll go to Underground Semi, and that will then go into Underground Final. So there's a lot that is still happening in this tournament. So plenty to look forward to. And hopefully you'll be all enjoying this. So Yoshi and Nilus are doing their match now. And Slacks and Okrim are also doing their match now. So we will hear results from them as we go. So we're just waiting on Junior to come in. For sake of convenience, I will still list Junior and Grimwood as semi-final 1 because it's the first semi-final we're playing. Challenge likes to order things in a specific order, so technically semi 1 is Iceman Yam, but we can do it whatever way we want to because we make the rules. It's fun like that. I'm just waiting for we are just waiting for confirmation, and hopefully we'll then get started. So I do apologize for the wait. Sometimes that can be how it goes. Like I said, if we have a very quick first set, and we're still waiting for all the other results, sometimes that's just the way it goes. And obviously, once the set has started, we can't exactly just interject. It's a little bit cheeky when we do that. Looks like they are both ready, so Junior and Grimwood in, and the bands are starting up. Oh, dear me. Can't stop going today for some reason. Always seems to be the way. Always seems to be the way where I'm wide awake, but my body just goes for the yawns all the time. Temple, DNA, and Mausoleum have been banned, so it'll either be Sparring Ring or yep, it's Sparring Ring. Didn't even need to say the other one, it's Sparring Ring. So, for the third time today, we will be starting on stream in Sparring Ring. Junior is good to go. We're waiting for Grimwood to ready up. And we'll see if Junior can maintain that aggressive momentum that they showed throughout the entirety of their match against the Lawyers. Grimwood is going to come in with Master Mummy, and Junior naturally coming in with the Cobra. And once again, I have to switch the names around because of course they spawned the wrong end. Grimwood on the left coming in with a Megawatt and a Nade, two very heavy arms. And Junior coming in with the combo that worked in the last set, that Ram and the Guardian. And so far, that Nade getting a couple of key explosions, but it's the grab that quickly shuts any kind of power on Grimwood's side off. And obviously, those very heavy arms, the Nade does the explosion. The Megawatt is coming in that will try and punch through whatever it can, but it ain't punching through a Guardian. That's pretty much what it's designed for. Let's get a uncharged punch in. The Junior is so far keeping this health bar at an equal sitting. Obviously, Master Mummy's ability activated. If that shield is up for too long, Grimwood starts healing some health. Again, the explosion of that AoE is catching Junior out. Remember seeing that happen beforehand. Rush coming in from Master Mummy, but Junior is quickly hopping away. Does take 75 at the very least, but not great for Grimwood, who's about to take a whole lot more. 365, that sends Master Mummy into critical. And they're going to have to try and punch their way through everything that Junior is throwing at the moment. And Megawatt just bounces off the shield and does nothing more. And that's the unfortunate thing. The Megawatt can't really punch around that Guardian without Grimwood trying to move into a position that slightly benefits them. We're down to the last 5 seconds. Baited out a grab, and Grimwood has a slight sliver of health and has to use the rush to make sure that Junior can't get another hit in. And at least we'll take that point there. Unfortunate thing here is that Junior is very close to getting a rush of their own, and Grimwood has switched here actually. Grimwood has switched into a popper and gets grabbed by Junior, who has kept their combo, is keeping the Guardian and the Ram. Clearly confident that the Guardian is working, and gets another grab on Grimwood, and Junior's being incredibly quick here. Knows exactly what Grimwood is trying to play at. Cracker is getting a couple of hits in, but Junior with some key grabs so far, and that's why there's such a big health lead here. Does get caught on that knockback, but unfortunately Arm was too far away to be able to properly block that. Grimwood takes a rush straight to the face, and it's one apiece. Junior again going to stick with what worked. Grimwood decided, yeah, okay, let's go back to what worked in the first time. And that is unfortunate. Rush came out, but Junior was already sliding away. Complete and utter avoidance. And yeah, got a grab as well, so no damage from Grimwood's rush again. It does take an explosion to the face and does keep Grimwood at a slight lead, and now healing away as well, just to add extra insult to injury. Junior not that far away from a rush, but can't seem to break through the heavy arms that Grimwood is flinging in with. The nades are really catching Junior out, and already Grimwood has another rush ready, but again Junior is not going to allow any damage to come through, and that is going to be a massive KO. Got shocked by the Watt. Master Mummy was already too close, and that was going to be a KO confirmed with that grab. And Grimwood is going to start with the first point, despite that second point rally that Junior came up with. But very good on Grimwood. Realized that that popper just did not work, that Junior was just shutting it down so many times. Switched back to the heavy arms and just kept Junior, despite the fact that Grimwood didn't really land either of the rushes. Junior was always able to avoid them. It was the explosions that were catching Junior out, and I think they're both already decided. Yep, fired also. So we're basically doing a rerun of the previous match, except with some slight differences. Grimwood has the lead in this one, and not Junior. And Junior has switched. Junior has switched from Kid Cobra to Twin Tail. So a very different set that we're going for, and Grimwood is now going to pull off what Junior did in the last match. Going into VoD, going to equip the same arm on both sides. This time around it's double nade versus what Twin Tail is bringing in, which is a Phoenix and a Roaster. So 3 unguarded arms in this match. And so far Twin Tail is trying to keep Grimwood as far in that corner as possible. Going to use the Phoenix to jump to swing around those nades and hope they land first, but if the nades connect, there's a lot of damage and a lot of explosions, and Junior tried to go for a very ambitious follow-up with that rush, but unfortunately could not get anything of it, wasted in the end. We'll clip on that left, but nothing that Grimwood won't worry about too much. Again, it's now keeping Twin Tail in that corner. Slams down with a big 200. Junior able to at least distance themselves from Mummy, but again, they're back in that corner, and it's not where you want to be against Master Mummy, especially with the 2 nades, especially with Rush already ready. Junior is now coming back into this, both with Rush and both activating at the same time, but Junior knew that they had to block it, because taking a rushed nade to the face was probably the worst idea in the world. Gets another nade explosion. both are a hit away from going down. And it's going to be Twintel who takes an uncharged nade to the face. That will knock him down. And it's set point to Grimwood. Grimwood gonna ditch one nade and bring in the Megawatt again. Meanwhile, Junior is going to, well, it's now Junior's turn to do the double arm trick. This time around, it's double roaster. Just about avoids the oncoming nade. Not able to avoid it that time around. Both do have rush available to them. Slows down the nades to get away from it. But it's now that added pressure of the shock factor from the Watt that you have to be careful of now. Gets a nice grab in there, blocks the Watt, dashes forward as they go for the rush, and scores 320. Not bad at all. Slightly weak on that right side, and Grimwood doing a little bit of healing, but gets a nice uncharged 1-2 punch, and actually connects with the knockback rush. 395 and the Megawatt straight to the face. Junior did not see that coming, didn't feel the need to block it, and down they go into that corner. Grimwood takes this 2-0 and advances to winners final. Wow. Wow, so we saw Junior completely dominate their initial match in round 2. And then Grimwood, well, Grimwood says, "No, Junior, you're not getting a Viadol's win again." And again, there was some good plays in there. Twin Tower was able to sort of like shield through the Megawatt, step forward, and just immediately rush in Grimwood's face. And that was amazing. There were some great plays on both sides. But Grimwood managed to catch Twintel centimeters from the ground, forcing her back up and straight into all of that rush. And then Junior, they went to try and move to the left and just took the Watt straight to the face. Sometimes, again, that's just how it goes. It took them down for a 2-0. We're now going to move onwards to Iceman versus Yam. And we are going to see how this plays out, especially considering the fact that, well, we've seen these two go at it before. We know exactly what they're capable of in these kind of situations. And obviously, you know, on top of which, Iceman came second last week. Iceman is looking to get to winners final and book their ticket into the grand finals so that they can at least equal what they did last week. But you know they're aiming for that top spot this time out. So as we ready ourselves for the second semi-final, remember the winner of this will go on to face off against Grimwood in winners final. As we wait for the bans to happen, we have some updates for you. Nillis has beaten Yoshi 2-0, which means Yoshi is unfortunately out of this tournament. And so is Slacks. Slacks was beaten by Okrim 2-0 as well. So in the Underground round 3 sets, we'll have Junior versus Okrim, which is going to be a very interesting matchup. Mausoleum is where we're going for this semi-final. The other match that is currently taking place is Aloria versus Nillis. That is in Underground round 2. That will finish off that bracket. The winner of that will play the loser of this match, which is Iceman or Yam. So as we prepare ourselves to get underway, we're going to Mausoleum first and foremost, and Iceman is coming in with Max Brass. And Yam is coming in with Lollapop. And the arms that they're coming out with is also pretty cool to see. We've got that Chakram and the Nade. So the Nade coming out once again, this time for Max Brass. And wow, an immediate first shock with that Sparky on the side of Yam and the Lola. And And that is coupled with the Scorpion. So Electric Poison versus our wonderful stuns, which does catch Yam. That charge does stun Yam, and Brass is able to capitalize on it this time round and get in a nice 170 grab. Both Lola and Brass jumped in the air, and Brass was always going to connect with that. Yam is facing quite the steep climb here. Gets caught out with another explosion on that nade, and already it's just a tap away from going down, trying to shield through as much as possible. But Iceman, with every punch that they throw out, they're charging up their rush, and they're almost back up to where they need to be. Gets the hit in with the nade. They will take the first point in this match. And we'll see if Yam switches things up. Thought about doing so, but no, I'm gonna actually keep this combination, and to be fair, so is Iceman. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, just having to block through as much of the explosions as possible, but can't really connect to anything with the spark. The Iceman always is able to read it quite nicely. Gets another grab in, and again, almost an exact same exchange as what happened in that first point. Both went for the jump, and Brass was kind of able to capitalize, but it's Yam this time who also gets a rush of their own out. Was not able to apply the poison stack, but is at least happy they dealt some damage. But again, caught out in mid-air with the stun from the chakram, and that is a dangerous exchange. A stun into an exploding nade. It's a devastating combo. Yam is a tap away from going down, and there it is, uncharged nade to the face. Iceman starts off this best of 3 set with a point. Yes, Max Brass, you are the best in this match. Unfortunately, Yam just did not have an answer for the arms that were coming out. Just consistently overpowered by that nade, and not really able to do anything else. And obviously the chakram on top of that. You've got a heavy hitting arm and a curved arm that if it hits, it will stun. And if it stuns you, you're either taking an explosion or a grab. Both from Max Brass are equally as bad. But that is exactly how it generally plays out. So we're going to await to see what our next picks are going to be. Obviously 2 stages will now be banned. And then Yam will pick our next stage even. Getting word that DNA and Temple are the stages to be banned. Yam is going to pick, I'd assume not Mausoleum. Yep. Oh wow. So we really like picking the counter picks today. This is really nice. So we've had 2 counter picks that have gone to Fire Dolls. Our 3rd counter pick has gone to Scrapyard. I like this. I like this a lot. So we are waiting for the 2 to ready up. And once they're ready, we will be underway. Just looks like Yam is thinking about something. So I wonder if they are. Oh, that's my bad. I clicked spot. That was my bad. I guess because I'm so used to picking Sparring Ring and I'm very rarely picking Scrapyard, I just auto defaulted all the way down to Sparring Ring. So that was my own fault. Oops, that was all me. Sorry everyone. Ah, that was silly. Alright, and Yam has indeed switched. Yam has switched to Ribbon Girl. So we've gone from Lola to Ribbon and going to run a double ice setup. We're going to go for the Chiller and the Burchuck. Meanwhile, Max Brass going to go with the same setup that won that first match, the Nade and the Chakram. Gets caught with a Chiller, just decides to stand there, but forgets the punch through the grab that came out. Ribbon Girl is going to throw him, and gets another double confirm with the wonderful chilly nature of these arms. And so far, Iceman is struggling here. Just consistently being caught out by one of the two. Jackram's going to come up and get another freeze, and again Iceman was not ready for that upcoming grab. Is now going to get buffed, does get the stun and the grab, and punches Ribbon clean through that stand, but they can't afford to take a couple more hits here, especially a grab. Here comes the rush, and that will also do it. And Ribbon did not want to allow Iceman to start building up steam from there. Does manage to get a quick confirm, and yeah, we'll start with the first point here. So a much better showing. The switch very much helping here. And Iceman again gonna stick with the same loadout, gonna stick with the nade and the Shackram. Does have rush, so they need to plan this carefully. Ribbon Girl is a very agile character, especially with those double jumps that she can use. Able to easily twirl out the way of that grab, and comes in with one of their own again off the back of another freeze. Iceman comes in with the rush and isn't able to get anything. Gets something at the very least towards the end, 120 damage, but it's probably not what they were aiming for at all. And again, just another explosion, just unfortunately missing. Just managed to catch Yam out of the air. They need to land more hits like that. Another stun, able to slow down Ribbon Girl, and another stun as well, so that she can't follow up, which is proving crucial here. But Yam beautifully timed that, throws Iceman. Iceman was expecting the grab to come out, went for the punch, and Yam went, well, I'm rushing here. And there's plenty of damage as possible. But does get caught with another stun. That will send Yam into critical. Probably can't take another one of those hits, and is about to. That grab KOs. And just like that, it can switch. Iceman equalizes this set. And straight into the final round, and straight from a grab from Yam. Was not able to connect to Iceman, but does get a quick chill, and Iceman waits it out. Both of these combatants sticking with the same arms here, the Chiller Birch Hook and the Nade Shackram. So both are very comfortable with what they do, and Iceman was able to get the jump up this time round. I think realized that they couldn't do anything with the nade, so they only hit with the Shackram, because I think that they were too close to the wall. If they had flung out that nade, they may have blown themselves up. Yam gonna come in with a rush, does manage to connect in the end, 160. But the health lead is Iceman's at this point, but now it's relatively even here. With every jump that Yam makes with Ribbon Girl, it's all about can they get the follow-up punch that Iceman might not be able to block. And so far it's working. Iceman missed up the follow grab, and it's actually going to get caught in midair. The permabuffs are going to come up now, and a nade does hit. This is a very, very close second match. The explosion catches Ribbon Girl on the side, and Iceman has rushed. It's just about when they fire it, but it's going to be blocked. And would you believe the timing of that? A shield break happens, and the nade explosion is enough to get the KO. Oh, that is unfortunate for Yam. The shield broke on the second to last punch, and the last punch was the nade, which was the explosion, and was able to get the KO from that. That was such a close second match. Like, seriously, Yam was able to see what Iceman was doing, switched to Ribbon Girl, started off brilliantly, because that mobility, Iceman just was unfortunate, just making a couple of mistakes, getting caught by one too many grabs, came back nicely in that second match, but even then, Yam was still jumping all over the place. Like, Ribbon Girl's mobility was very much helping Yam, and in that third match, it could have gone either way, but sadly, that nade, that last punch nade was all Iceman needed. That's just that is just how it goes. But really good semi-final match. Well played. We are now going to move into winners final. And it will be between Iceman and Grimwood. So for those of you who do not know how this is going to work, this is not going to be a best of 3. This is going to be a best of 5. All of the finals are best of 5s, so there will be 3. Potentially 4 if we get it back at reset. So, as we await to see where this is going to go, I feel like we should probably update you as to what's going on. Nillis has beaten Aloria 2-0, so Aloria is out of the competition now. And like I said, Nillis will now go up against Yam, as Yam was defeated in that last semi-final match. Junior has beaten Okrim 2-0, so Okrim is out. And remember, Okrim finished 3rd last week, and obviously Refer isn't taking part in this time. So whatever happens, 2 out of 3 of the top 3 spots are going to be new entries, with Iceman pretty much bucking that ticket into there, having gotten into the winners final. We are going to Temple Grounds to start off. Temple Grounds is going to be our first best of 5 match. Grimwood going to come in with Master Mummy. Iceman going to come in with Min Min. And they are on the right sides, which is good to see. Thank you very much, game. Iceman with Min Min coming in with the Sparky and the Ice Dragon. Grimwood coming in with a set that I have played quite a number of times. Not with Master Mummy, but with Mechanica, and that is the Megawatt and the Tri-Blast. So one big shock and one horizontal explodey little thing. And unfortunately was not prepared for the grab that was coming from Min Min, and gets taken down and gives Min Min a chance to keep that Sparky on perma-charge, but now they'll have to reset that all over again as Mummy knocks it down. Gets another grab. This will be a quick perma-charge up. No, it's not. And gets another grab, is able to just about dance around, and Grimwood trying to use the pillars to sort of like stall Iceman is just not expecting Min Min to get there so quickly and come in with a grab before they can even fling out a punch of their own. So far Iceman is taking an absolute peppering now, so Grimwood was not happy with all of that, but does get caught out by a Sparky. Now be a straight up grab confirmed with that, and that's going to be a grab into a rush, into a KO. Iceman played a very, very patient game there, getting Grimwood annoyed. Grimwood trying to force the pressure up, but getting caught out by this combination that Iceman is bringing to the table, and just about able to punch through that grab at the last second. As we start our second point with the same weapon arms loadouts on both sides of the field. And that's going to be another shock into a grab, and Min Min is just on fire here. But the grab is going to come out. It will catch Iceman for 285. I think the Megawatt didn't hit on both of those throws. But now I'm going to try and keep Min Min in that corner in as many ways as possible. But caught out with the shock, and the Dragon obviously from range. Just doing enough to knock them back down. Iceman is going to be the one in critical condition, just about moves out of the way of the Watt. Tries to go forward, but not getting there quick enough. And only able to get chip damage off of that rush. You saw Iceman realize that the distance was too much, and goes down to a counter rush from Grimwood a few moments later. All square. And once again, they're both not shifting from these arm setups. Both are very happy with the way these are playing out. Obviously, there's no more pillars to dance around, so it's just Iceman trying to utilize the range of that Dragon to try and stall and annoy Grimwood into some mistakes, and also to get caught out by the Sparky, which is a very good disruptive set that Iceman is running. The Dragon is there to annoy, whilst the Sparky is there to try and get the shot and a confirm to either grab or to rush. That 3-4-5 is going to be brilliant for Min Min. Does punch through the grab, and again stalling Grimwood, keeping them in that corner. They can't stall too much because they will try and heal as much as they can with the shields, but Grimwood wants to be as aggressive as possible as well and comes in with a rush of their own. Gets 385. One more peck will take Iceman down. But they need to be careful here because they know a grab can shift the momentum. That's exactly what it does. When Min Min only just avoided the ward but could not avoid the bolt. A very close set there that could have gone either way, but the first point is going to go the way of Grimwood. But again, a 2-1 match, so it's... you get the feeling it's going to be one of those sets where it's going to be very close from start to finish. Scrapyard and Fire are banned, so for the first time on stream, we will not be seeing a counter pick because they are both banned by Grimwood. Iceman is going to pick Sparring Ring. It is Sparring Ring this time round. I've not made a mistake. And here we go. So Iceman is going to switch into Ribbon Girl. And Grimwood going to come in with that Master Mummy again. Same weapon combination? No, going to come in with that Popper this time. And Iceman is going to go double electricity in the form of a Sparky and a Seeky. Very interesting tactic here, especially against that Megawatt. He is able to catch a shock and then an explosion onto Grimwood, but the thing that you have to remember here is that the Seeky, it is prone to do the self-destruct. If it gets caught by that Watt, it will explode, and if it's too close to Iceman, it will be devastating for them, so they'll have to be very careful with this and plan the throw, and that was exactly what they needed. Straight into a massive rush confirmed, 445. Risk equals reward, and it's certainly doing Iceman all the favors right now. Starting off the stronger, but again, that's what you have to be careful of. A charge shot into the Watt means a lot of damage coming in, 360. And Grimwood's going to try and go for the finish, but gets shocked in retaliation. Both in critical condition. So again, this is a very close match as we start. Both players being as aggressive as possible. Grimwood got the shock, but couldn't capitalize. They could not capitalize on it. And as a result, Master Mummy is able to get the point instead. That is unfortunate. And once again, Iceman going to start off with a nice quick flurry. Gets that grab and gets another quick little shock in. Remember that they have got a balanced set here. And that's going to be another massive amount of damage. 425 this time round. And Grimwood is in critical whilst Iceman has barely taken any damage at all. That's going to be a KO for sure. 150 with the grab. And that was absolutely explosive. And that was mostly down to Ribbon there. Like, Ribbon has, like I said, a very good setup in terms of their weight distribution here. This, oh my! And somehow that grab didn't connect. I call shenanigans. Grimwood went for the rush, got shocked by the Seeky, I think it was, but somehow the grab did not connect. I don't know how Grimwood got away with that. But the Megawatt is going to connect and force Ribbon down. But like I was saying, the Sparky is a significantly lighter glove than the Seeky. So if one doesn't hit you at one speed, the other might do so. And right now, Ribbon is having a bit of a hard time here because they keep getting caught out by this explosion. He does manage to pepper them back with the Tri-Blast, comes in with a grab, but we've been able to bounce out of the way of that using that mobility of hers beautifully. And again, another nice avoid on that bolt. And that's why Grimwood is trying to predict where she's going to be as best as possible. And so far, it's just both of them trading blows in their respective corners. Grimwood is going to be the one who goes into critical, quickly nips back out of it via their healing, but that's not going to help them. Because Iceman again catches them out with the shock explosion. And Ribbon is going to take that point, and guess what, people? It's 1 apiece. In our first best of 5 of the tournament, it's 1 apiece. And that was unfortunate for Grimwood, because every time Iceman flung out a C-key, chances are Grimwood would let that shield down with just a millisecond whilst there was still an explosion on the field, and just consistently shocking them out of it. So it's, like I said, it's a difficult one to sometimes because sometimes you'll think that it's gone completely so you can lower it, but sometimes it's still there a bit. We're going back to sparring ring, so we're gonna have this twice here. So Grimwood wants to go back, see if they can get the better of Iceman this time around, and they're gonna come in with Kid Cobra. So we are gonna see the heavy character go of Master Mummy, and we're gonna come in with Kid Cobra. Obviously a very different arm loadout. Ribbon Girl gonna stick with what no! Gonna go to double Sparky this time around, so we're gonna lose the C key and go double Spark. And already had to be on the evasive because that clapback immediately rebounded one of those Sparkies right back towards Ribbon, who had to take immediate action. And the assist with that is going to be that little popper. You see that so many times. If it hits, it will knock you back. That's exactly what it's designed to do. Iceman able to get a quick little hit, but so far Grimwood is able to keep up with this, but does finally get shocked in the end. And the grab flung into the corner. Iceman with rush up first. Both now have it. And obviously the clapback, very different than the Guardian. Yes, both are shield arms, essentially, but the clapback is designed to do exactly that. Rebound your opponent's arm straight back into their face, and if it's charged, well, that's a self-paralyzation, and Cobra, if a Cobra can get a grab set up from that, it's a lot of damage on the board. This rush is also going to be exactly that, 320, jumped over the clapback if it did potentially come. And Iceman equalizes this up and is not able to block their own, takes 290. The clapback is a very weird arm to see it being used in the rush, but it still does its damage, it does its fair share of it. And the clapback can also attack, in case you weren't aware of that. And Ribbon Gold takes the shield straight to the face. And Grimwood gonna stick with that setup, and Iceman forced to switch to something else. I'm gonna switch to the Slapamander to see if they can curve completely around that clapback, which is exactly what those kind of arms are designed to do. Grimwood just consistently throwing out the clapback. If it's not in an ideal situation, they'll try to use it as an attack to try and bait Iceman into a mistake, and then immediately ready up for another strategy. Goes for the grab, but Iceman wasn't quite up in time for it to connect. Clapback not quite hitting this time round. And it's Iceman who is almost at half health. We're actually both now in the same. No, actually, no, it's Iceman in the lead now. Slapamander definitely working its magic. Definitely a good arm switch. But let's get caught out by that popper in the end. Like I said, both with rush available, so you're thinking if you're Grimwood, if you get yourself into a position, you might try and go for it, but you also don't wanna waste it. Grimwood finds themselves in crit. It's gonna be both of them going for it, and Grimwood should have held on. Grimwood should have held on to it. They both go into match 3 with no rush, and it's Ribbon Girl who took the advantage of that. So 1 apiece. Grimwood gonna stick with that setup, and obviously Iceman gonna stick as well. Was very hoping that they definitely would have stick, because that Slapamander was seriously working, but already Grimwood has already found a way around it, and is just catching Ribbon Girl out before she can start jumping. Finally does get a little bit of a peck, but that was a lot of damage that Iceman just unfortunately couldn't do anything about. Lost their arm temporarily, but again was thankful that they were at least able to knock down Grimwood, so could not take full advantage of it. The Iceman already past half health, does have rush, but then again, so does Grimwood, and somehow Iceman misses the rush! That was a perfect setup with the shock, and somehow the first punch of that rush missed, but it's okay, because Grimwood misses as well. Oh, but it's It sucks when that sort of stuff happens, so if Iceman can still get the win with that, it would be a very good recovery in and of itself. And it looks like they're about to. One more tap on Grimwood will do it, and there it is. So despite that fluff, Iceman will take the lead in this set. 2 points to 1. And already, yep, wow, we're going to see Sparring Ring 3 times in a row in this set. Same bands from Iceman, which was Via and Mausoleum. Same pick from Grimwood, which was Sparring Ring. Which is an interesting decision at this point in time, because Grimwood has now lost twice on Sparring Ring in a row. And this is the tactic they're going to play with here. We have a ribbon mirror. Not the same arm loadout, thankfully, but it is a ribbon mirror. So Grimwood going to come in with a Tribolt and a Toaster. Meanwhile, Iceman is going to stick with what worked, which was the Sparky and the Slapamander, and immediately catches Grimwood with a Spark into a grab. And jump straight over that Bolt. This is going to be a very different match of that, there is no doubt, because that Bolt, it's designed to try and reduce that mobility of Ribbon Girls, trying to catch them out, try and have a better opportunity of catching them out. But on top of that, if they can get a stun in midair, it immediately just stops Iceman dead. I mean, on the floor, it does exactly what it says on the tin, but in midair, it's just, you just feel that momentum just slow to a halt. Grimwood is going to be the first one to get that rush. Iceman not far behind, but already falls under the halfway mark. So it's just to see if Grimwood can keep this momentum into a stun rush. That should be a KO. No, it's not. Just a sliver of health remains there for Iceman. All Grimwood needs is just a little tap. And there it is. I think it was the ball. I thought it was the... Yeah, just the one ball just managing to hit there. And we'll take that first point in there. And Iceman is going to switch arms and have a little bit of a shake up here. So the Sparky is gone. We now have the Seeky. And again, like I said, gets caught with that stun and immediately drops to the floor. Grimwood gonna stick with what works because, well, it works. Why the heck not? That's gonna be another stun and another free punch with that Toaster. And again, Iceman is consistently jumping into the stun bolt. It's exactly why Grimwood has made the switch, because they know that they can counter this kind of playstyle with it. And again, more free damage. Grimwood has a lot more control in this match, and Iceman is just not prepared for it. Slaps are just not landing, and the bolts most of the times are finding their mark, and when they do, most of the times they're stunned as well. But now forced into the corner, but it is going to be Ribbon. I say Ribbon. It's going to be Iceman who actually gets the confirm. Grim tried to do a quick counter, but unfortunately, that Seeky's going to cause a massive explosion on you, and it's... Yeah, it's evened this out quite nicely. So Grimwood had all of the momentum and all the damage being dished out, but run rush like that with that Seeky, and well, like we see, Grimwood finds themselves in critical, but so does Iceman now. It's really going to come down to who can get that initial hit, and it's actually going to be Grimwood. Grimwood takes that in the end, 2-0. So our first best of 5 goes to match 5. And here we go again. So we're going back. We're going back to Sparring Ring for the 4th time. And it's all to play for now. It's 2 apiece. Whoever wins this goes to the grand final. Did not think we'd have ourselves a 5th match in this already. But here we are, and Iceman is going to switch completely. It's Iceman coming in with Max Brass and already loses the arm on the left-hand side. Grimwood gonna quickly get a grab, confirm on that, and a stun, and a second stun. And make that a third, make that a fourth. Grimwood is on an absolute tear here. Gets another stun into another grab. I think this could be the first perfect. No, it's not. They trade a hit on the last go round there. But Grimwood just absolute on fire there. Iceman did not... Sorry, Iceman just didn't have an answer for that at all. It is going to connect with the rush, jumping over that arm. Gets a 350 damage there, and Grimwood is just on a tear. Is finally getting caught by a lot of big hits here from Iceman and finds themselves in critical. But it's going to get a nice grab confirm on the big guy. The nade and the chakram is just being cut out by the quickness of this Tribolt. And another grab to punish the overuse of the shield. Grimwood gets another stun, make that a second stun in a row. Make that 3 into a rush, and that's going to be a KO. Grimwood completely dominated that entire match. Oh, wow. The second Grimwood switched to Ribbon Girl. I wouldn't say it completely turned on its head, because the fourth match was incredibly close. But that match, oh my word, Max Brass just was not able to do anything. They had such a massive lead and a really good start in that second point. But at the same time, it's just, they were consistently hit with that stun bolt over and over and over again. And in the end, it's just complete and utter breeze in the end on that last match. So that's just how it goes. But yeah, Grimwood advances to the grand final in a classic 3-2 set. Yam has beaten Nihilus 2-1, so Yam and Junior will be fighting off in the underground semi-final, which is going to be up next. As we get ourselves ready to go, I'm just going to get this typed in real quick. It's all progressing along pretty nicely, it must be said, so hopefully you all having a lot of fun. So, let's get these typed up. And remember, at this point, this is essentially for that top 4 finish. The winner of this will move into the underground final, and the loser will be out and finish in 4th. This is the underground semi-final. There's only one of these. And this is the last best of 3 match in this tournament. After this, it will be best of 5s for the remainder. So you have been noted. And the winner of this will go up against Iceman in that grand final. So it could be a rematch between Yam and Iceman, or it could be Junior versus Iceman, which we have not had in this tournament yet, which would make for a very interesting match. So we'll see how it goes. And I think we might have an issue where I'm going to have to back out. Yep. They don't have me added, so I have to add them. So I will just quickly BRB. And we are back. Okay, that thankfully didn't take too long. Yeah, both of them had not added me as friends, so that was unfortunate. There you go. That's all done and dusted. It looks like our first match is going to be on Mausoleum. Remember, this is a best of 3 here. And it's the last best of 3 of this tournament. Like I said, once we go into the underground final after this, it'll be a best of 5, and then the grands will be a best of 5. Plus a potential reset, but you never know. You never know in this environment. So it looks like both are ready to go. They certainly are. And Junior is going to come in with the Helix. Yam is going to come in with the Min Min. So the underground semi-final is about to be underway. Junior on the left as the Helix. Gonna come in with a Toaster and a Burchuck. Yam on the right as Min Min, coming in with a Phoenix and a Lockjaw. So as our action gets underway, and already it's very clear to see that both of them are going to play one of those kind of fun, intense sets where Min Min will try and get that arm perma-charged up and force a lot of pressure onto Junior. Meanwhile, Junior is just looking for as many confirms with that Burchuck as possible. Getting caught out a little bit there by the Min Min. Now hopefully trying to avoid the nature of the Phoenix and the projectile that the Lockjaw does fling out, but is able to be just a little bit quicker than it, and so far able to punish Yam. Trampoline is already available to jump on if they so wish. The Lockjaw doesn't quite connect with Junior. The projectile just misses on the left hand side. The bird again catching out Yam and takes the Toaster to the face, and that's going to be the first quick start there for the Helix of Junior. And they're going to switch out, actually. Gonna switch out into a Tri-Blast. Min Min gonna come in with that Roaster now. And that was great work there from Yam. Saw Junior was gonna come in with the rush, immediately dashed to the side and came out with a rush of their own, and Junior, already in midair and committed, could do nothing to block it. Very good placement awareness there from Yam. Does unfortunately get caught out by the Tri-Blast. Charges up that Phoenix, and hopefully we'll be able to use it nicely to curve around. Obviously the Tri-Blast, I'm not sure if the switch was necessary. The Tri-Blast does help with Min Min's mobility, kind of like it does with Ribbon Gold, but it feels like it's been a bad switch here. Junior has been caught out big time here. Just can't seem to get the edge on this Min Min. Able to bounce away from that Roaster. But one more tap will put them into KO and equalize this this first initial match. But unfortunately, Min Min gets grabbed. Phoenix immediately goes away. They'll have to perma-charge that again. Got just over 30 seconds. They don't want to use the rush at this point. They just are looking for one more hit. The Phoenix flicks right to the left and catches Helix as they go for a jump. That will tie that up. They're both on one apiece here. This is the first point, remember. So final round here. Both will start with rush, and Min Min went straight for the rush. I don't think Helix was quite expecting an immediate rush there. Min Min connects. And will now start charging up for their second one. Meanwhile, Junior hanging on to the rush where possible. Gonna come in with double Toaster. Does catch Min Min out on the trampoline. 260. Not able to get the grab. Tries to go for a second one, but Yam also aware that was what they were probably going to go for. And so far, the setup is working for Min Min. Helix has been as tall as possible. One of that more unique traits for Helix, where they can duck down much further than any other character can. Gets a grab onto the Min Min, both with rush already available. And immediately punishes that shield. Way too long a shield, especially when you're that close to Helix. You just cannot do that. And now gonna get caught out by another one of those Toasters. Does manage to get the Phoenix perma-charged, but if they get caught in a KO in a rush here, it's gonna spell trouble for them, as all Junior is doing is just spamming the toasters, using that chip damage to either just force a break shield or something else. And no, it's not gonna happen for Min Min. Min Min thought about going for a rush. I think they thought that they had an opportunity to do so, but Helix was aware. Junior able to just quickly deviate from what they were originally doing, baited out that rush, and completely shut Yam down. But very solid first match there. Could have gone either way. So we are going to go to DNA Lab for our next match. First time we're seeing DNA Lab on stream, which is always nice to see. I think we're going to have a character change on Junior's side. We certainly are. Junior going to go for Kid Cobra. Yam going to stick with the Min Min. And oh gosh, we might be seeing a Guardian coming out. What is Junior going to do? Is Junior going to seriously commit to a double Guardian offense? Are we really going to see it? No, we're not. Okay, we are going to see one at least. We're going to see that Ram and the Guardian. And Yam is going to come in with that Scully. We were talking about the Scully earlier, about arms that can sometimes work. I don't know how well it'll work here, especially against the Guardian. But we'll see what Yam can do with it. The lockjaw obviously with that projectile, and trying to dance around these tubes as is custom in DNA Lab. But Junior just keeping all of the pressure here, forcing Min Min into the corner, forcing them to try and fight their way out, and they just immediately shut it down, even with the curved nature of the Ram, as you can see, just all the way around that tube, or just shutting out any other straight on attack with the use of that Guardian. And so far, Junior is just on an absolute tear here. Gets the grab. That is a KO. And is that a perfect? Yes, it is. Min Min did not hit Cobra once that entire match. And Yam is going for a very interesting tactic here. Double Scully. Gonna wait for that Guardian. And actually, not only did they manage to get damage, they got double the poison stack. So that's already on 2. It will go away eventually, as it has done now, but I think Junior was actually expecting to get hit by that. And immediately retaliates with a rush. Yam finds himself in a very interesting predicament. Actually gets a rush hit on Junior as well. Obviously, regardless of which arm it finished with, it's applying the poison stack. Does manage to catch Min Min out with the Ram. You see Yam having to try and get that shield up, knowing that they're going to have to be very careful with this. Does manage to punch through the grab attempt and gets another poison stack marker onto Junior. It should wear off in a moment. I don't think Yam can keep that pressure up, but again managed to get another hit. They're playing a very patient game with these Scullies, waiting for the Guardian to sort of like be in a position where they can throw in the quick nature of that Scully. But the Ram is just forcing Min Min into just a wall, a literal wall. And that's going to be a KO. The grab of Cobra just confirms it. A 175. Min Min is down. And that is going to be that. A 2-0 for Junior. Yam will finish this tournament in 4th place. And Junior progresses to the Underground Final. So the Underground Final is about to be underway. Remember, the Underground Final is a best of 5. All of the matches from here on out are best of 5s. We are done with best of 3s. So it is gonna be, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. Iceman versus Junior in the Underground Final. The loser will finish this tournament in 3rd. The winner will progress to the Grand Final, where they will fight against Grimwood for the title. And just to sort of like paint the picture here, like I said, Iceman finished second last week. If they lose here, they go one down. If they win, they'll at worst equal what they did last week. We're gonna go to Mausoleum first in this first match. Junior is ready. Iceman is ready. Kid Cobra versus Dr. Coil. A very interesting matchup we are about to see here. Junior gonna come back in with what worked in that previous match, the Guardian and the Ram Ram. Meanwhile, Coil is gonna come in with the Chiller and the Thunderbird. And as of right now, well, I'm not entirely sure if this is gonna work for Coil here. Junior is playing a straight up, very aggressive plan here, but it is finally slowed down by that grab, and obviously Iceman gets a nice little chill. And remember with Coil that her charged ability means that she is able to fling out a third arm, so it's always going to be 2 of 1 that is gonna go flying out. So double the chance of chill or double the chance of lightning. It's as simple as that. And using the Thunderbird to try and fly around that Guardian. And it's even Steven so far. Junior did have a pretty decent start, but Iceman slowing that down finally. And they both trade a hit. And again, staying on relatively same pace, but it's Coil who's going to get the shock and a rush. And Iceman tried to go for that finishing poke, but Junior comes in with a rush of their own. Both are a tap away here from conceding this first point. Junior has a health lead by, well, literal millimeters if this does go to time, which we are closing in on now. 10 seconds to go. Coil somehow misses that Ram Ram hit from Junior as 5 seconds counts down, and it's the Ram Ram that finally takes Coil out the air. Just could not find that finishing blow. The saving grace for Iceman here is that they're pretty much at rush predicament here. Junior is just past the halfway mark. Coil switching into an Ice Dragon. Going to keep the Chiller at the very least. Junior, meanwhile, roaster Guardian. That Guardian is very much out for them. Interesting that the fact that they decided to leave off the Ram Ram. I thought that Curved Nature was helping them a bit, but clearly they feel like they need a bit more of a heavy hitter. So far they're being caught out here by the double Chiller approach, and obviously the Dragon just doing its usual thing of stalling, especially with someone like Cobra. You want to be able to stall that kind of momentum. And plus it means that if it does hit the Guardian, nothing really happens because it's far enough away. Both activated rush at the exact same time. And that was always going to go Junior's way. The Dragon can't really do that in such close quarter combat. Iceman finds themselves in critical condition already. Guardian only just about went back to Junior as they wait for the freeze to drop. And it's going to just punch through the Guardian. It was just on its way back when the punch came out. That's why I didn't block any of it. And both find themselves once again on similar kind of health. Double the Dragon coming out, but that is a shock. That is a grab. That is a KO. And Junior is going to take that 2-0 and start this final with a point lead. Coil did everything that they could, but it just was not enough to keep the snake down. Junior's going to ban Scrapyard and the Temple Grounds as we wait to see where Iceman's going to pick. Iceman is going to pick in DNA Lab. So the Coil was not able to deal with the Kid Cobra, and Iceman very much knows that. Going to switch to the Min. Junior will remain with the Kid Cobra, so gonna see a different character and a different arm loadout. We're probably gonna see Junior stick with that combo that worked. Yes, indeed he does. That Rooster and the Guardian. Min gonna come back in with that Ice Dragon. Only gonna switch one arm in the end, and that is the Chakram. already on weak on that right hand side for Junior, so gotta be a little bit careful. Guardian trying to catch Min Min in a position, but Iceman aware of that Guardian this time round, trying to block it where possible. Dancing around that tube for a significant long time, but finally gets caught out by the shock of that Guardian, and it's a free grab for Junior as they start what once again appears to be quite the match. Both managed to miss with the grab, both were just a little too far on the side. And the Chakram again, stun in midair, and Cobra just drops straight to the floor. But it's Iceman who has a lot of work to do here. Health already past the halfway mark. That's the pressure that the Guardian is just keeping Min Min under. Like we saw with Coil. Coil was obviously not as mobile, not as agile as Min Min, but even here, it's clear to see that this is working beautifully here for Junior. The Guardian seems to shut them down at every opportunity. And the rush gonna come straight out for Iceman. Does actually connect, deals 340. Notice how they try to hit as much with the Ram Ram as possible before firing at the Dragon to make sure that Junior was lined up for it. You do not want to lead a rush with the Dragon unless you are absolutely certain it will land. Arm was weak there, and now definitely weak on that right hand side. Junior's got to be careful. They'll lose the Guardian arm if they're not careful, and actually they're just going to lose it completely to a stun. Iceman pulling out what we saw previously, where it was just stun hit after stun hit after stun hit. And again, we were hoping to see the Chakram finally get around the Guardian, and not only did it do so, it just continuously hit Junior and got so many stuns. The shock did come out for Junior, but Iceman was far enough away and also behind the tube that it just couldn't capitalize on it. Min Min spots an opportunity to do so, goes for the rush, 355, and suddenly the table has turned. Iceman is now getting very much back into the set, and Cobra needs to find a way of slowing this momentum down. The Guardian is just not working here anymore. It's just consistently in a position where Min Min is able to dance around it. And here comes the rush that will confirm a good decent amount of chunk, 320. Iceman in critical condition. They know a grab from Junior is, well, could KO. It very much can KO now at this rate. Just one more punch, but Min Min somehow in the middle of all of those arms took no damage. Saw which way the Guardian was coming, dived to the right, got another solid hit just before the arms got to him. This is a very, very close match, and comes out with the rush! That will confirm for a KO! Beautifully done there by Iceman. Had to wait there, had to be very patient, but does get the pick in the end. That's one apiece. And we're going to match 3. This is all square. So Sparring Ring and Via are banned from Iceman. I'm going to wait to see where Junior decides to take us. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to Mausoleum. So we are ready to go with that, but that was beautifully done there by Iceman. Able to find a way around the Guardian. And not only that, just those stuns. Like, they weren't able to make it work in that first match, in that first point. But the second point, it just suddenly clicked. They realized what Iceman's plan was and just executed stun after stun after stun. Junior is going to switch out into a Megawatt. Going to keep the Guardian, so they're playing a very heavy loadout here. It's also double shock as well. So the Megawatt will try and cancel as much as possible. So once again, Iceman is going to be heavily reliant on that Chakram to get around, get stunned, and then do follow-ups with either the Dragon or a grab if they're close enough. Arm is already weak though on that left-hand side, so you know the amount of pressure that Junior is applying with stuff like that is already on him. Again, catching that stun. The second you get a stun whilst Junior's in the air, Junior just immediately drops to the floor. It's how crucial those stuns really are. And an uncharged Megawatt, whilst it's uncharged, is still a lot of damage to take. Min Min gonna come in with the rush first, and Junior really shouldn't have activated it there. They do have the heavier arms, but Iceman was already in a better position, and that was always going to hit from there. And a nice little tap from the Dragon again puts Junior towards that critical condition. You see the Ram just flying around the Guardian every time. Sometimes it'll bounce off it, because Junior is able to at least fling it into an area that the Ram would go. Does get the shock of Min Min, but is way too far away to be able to take advantage of it. Tries to go for the grab to seal the KO, but not going to happen. 5 seconds to go. Junior's going to slide immediately in to see if they can get anything with the rush. They can't! And somehow Iceman gets a literal 0-second KO. That's about as last second as you'll ever see it. And Junior finally ditches the Guardian. Arms weak on both sides as only chip damage in the end, but gets caught out with that stun, and yet another stun into a grab. And Min Min is going to punch Junior to the other side of the stage into another grab, completely punishing Junior. Has switched to double toaster. Maybe they double roaster even. Maybe regretting it just a little bit, because so far they have not really been able to land anything. Being caught out with stuns and grabs. But finally starting to get the momentum going. But again, caught out with another stunned Ram and puts them in critical condition. They do have rush and are going to try and fling it out now. Going to do a lot of damage with that. Nice 320. Puts Iceman almost into critical. Never mind, does put Iceman into critical. So they're very much not out of this yet. But again, caught by the stun. The trampoline goes down. A tap from either of these might do it, but Iceman has rush and Junior knows it and can't do anything about it. And Junior goes down, and Iceman is going to take that 2-1. So Junior was 1-0 up. Iceman now 2-1 up and puts themselves in match point. If Iceman can win, they'll book their ticket into the grand final, and Junior will be finishing in 3rd place. Same bands from Iceman by the looks of it, so we're going to see where we are going to go. Junior just waiting on them to let us know. Buster Beach. So match number 4 is Buster Beach. And both are going to stick with the same character. So we're going to see Kid Cobra and Min Min again. Are we going to see a similar weapon loadout? It looks like it. So Junior did ditch the Guardian. They're going to bring it back. Yes, they are. Guardian and Ram. So Junior deciding to see if they can play the Ram game as well. But unfortunately, Min Min starts off with a pretty much immediate grab. So plenty to work on here for Junior as they come in with a Ram Guardian. So the Guardian again going to see if they can try and force Min Min into any kind of errors, but as we've seen so far with Iceman, they're able to jump around that, and especially with using the Chakram, able to get around. But that's exactly what Junior's probably going to try and play with here. They're going to know that Ram is going to come in, and they're going to see if they can at least block it with one of their own. But so far, Iceman is putting up a lot of aggression, able to fire around the Guardian, and here it comes, another rush confirmed. That is 360. Junior does have rush, but with this much of a health deficit, I don't think even Iceman has taken a point of damage yet. So this could be a perfect on Iceman's side if Junior isn't careful. Trying to slide straight back into their face, and it's not going to work. That's a perfect. So we've had 2 perfects in this tournament, and the second one comes from Iceman. As they immediately back up to permacharge their arm, they're going to lose it immediately because they are caught by the rush of Junior. Junior ditched the Ram, goes straight back to the tried and trusted, that roaster, but so far, once again, despite taking all that damage, Iceman is just shrugging it off and equalizing that quite nicely. That Chakram, Junior just can't seem to deal with it. the boulder is able to land. The Guardian just sort of sits there and doesn't really do anything. In fact, gone completely down there, actually. And here comes the rush, and it's going to connect again. And Junior is a tap away from finishing in 3rd place in this tournament. Iceman, well, there's a lot of distance between them, and obviously the Dragon, it can hit you from, will hit you from there. And I'm going to jump over for the rush. That is going to connect. 280. Iceman finds themselves in crit. It really just comes down to who can get this final blow, gets that perma charge up, and would you believe it? Cobra gets the hit with the Guardian from quite some range away. They're both going to stick with the same arms. The Dragon, the Ice Dragon, and the Chakram still going to come out with Min Min. So they're still happy with how that went, but they'll definitely need to tidy up that end part. And look at that, the grab just about blocked. Junior thought that's exactly what Iceman was going to go for. Iceman gets the stun and comes in with a follow-up grab. Not using the rush just yet. And now going to do it with Junior's arms, both completely out, not able to move anywhere else. 360. Junior still does not have rush available to them yet. The Guardian just wasn't quite close enough to get that shot confirmed they needed. Grab into the corner. Junior is in critical condition. And this is going to be quite the fight back here. Does have rush available. Went for the grab. Both of them missing their respective grabs. The Dragon also going to miss. And Junior picks up their time once again. Gets into the air. Min Min just cannot do anything against it. But it's still not over yet. They managed to get a tap. But it's not enough for the KO. They need to hit Junior one more time. Chakram just ended up in front of them, and the Dragon not even close. But the rush should do it. No, it's not. It's just going to only be chip damage. Arms weak on both sides if they can force a shield break. But it goes away. It goes away, and Junior is almost at rush capacity again. All of this pressure from Iceman, and the Guardian slowly slinks back away. There's 10 seconds on the clock. Will Junior get the rush in time? He won't! He can't! He jumps straight up, and it's the Chakram that catches him out. Very, very close to a last second push comeback, but it's not going to happen. Iceman will win this 3-1 and books their ticket into the grand final. You just felt like a couple more seconds and Junior might have got a rush up and flung it straight at Iceman, but not to be. It just didn't happen in time. And like I said, jumping into the Chakram will unfortunately ruin that for you. But well played to both players once again. Junior will finish this tournament in 3rd place, which means that Iceman for yet another week has made it to the grand final. This time round, they're not facing Riffa. They're facing Grimwood. So the question remains, can Grimwood beat Iceman a second time? Or will Iceman force a bracket reset? Because that's what can happen here at this stage of the tournament. In a double elimination environment, bracket resets are very much a thing. So I hope you're all sitting comfortably, because this is how it's going to play out. It is a best of 5, as is usually the case. But like I said, if Iceman wins, we gotta do it again. But if Grimwood wins, it's all over. So let's get some hype going in the chat. Who do you want to see take up the victory? Do you want to see that reset, or do you want... Hang on a second, I just need to double check something. Just reconfirm there. Some results. We are just getting some of the usual stage work up and ready. We're gonna start on Temple Grounds, which is always nice. So Temple Grounds is going to be where we start. The Ice Dragon shield made. Oh yeah, quick shout out to the chat by the way. They have been hyping it up throughout the tournament, so it's nice to see you. Just some of our recent chatters in the chat there. So Nillis is in there, Pineapple is in there, Yoshi, Moonlight. It's good to have you all here. There's obviously a lot of people that have been chatting throughout this session. They're just the most recent of our chats. And yeah, hope you're all having fun. I'm going to need to quickly switch these two over because once again they've put them on the wrong end. Thank you very much. And this is it. This is the start of our grand final, and Grimwood's going to come in with a Springtron. We have not seen that all tournament on stream. And Minmin's going to start off with a big time grab. And they're both running kind of similar setups here. Min coming in with the Sparky and the Ice Dragon, Springtron coming in with an Ice Dragon of their own and a Chiller. So both running a form of glove and both running the same dragon. And it's going to be the Chill that's going to land onto Iceman. And Springtron just moving all the way back, activates the EMP. And you just see how fast Springtron just starts darting around after they use it. That's literally one of their perks. Iceman. I feel like that was an inopportune moment to go for that rush, and I think they knew it. The second Grimwood just blocked it, Icebound went, yeah, that was a mistake. And already down into critical condition, maybe behind one pillar, and that dragon is going to make sure you do not get out of there without a little bit of a tap, or at least a lot of work. Sparky does manage to send Springtron all the way down. Dragon misses its follow-up beam, and just playing this little bit of a dance here. Who's going to get that first lucky break? It looks like Grimwood wants to get that confirmed, but Iceman is hanging in there. Baited out the grab. I think Grimwood won't mind that at all. It's like they could have held on to that grab, but they also felt like Min was getting slowly back into that, so baited out the grab from Iceman and just immediately went in with the rush and catches an arm out on that right side. Somehow Min is able to avoid damage and gets the stun that they were after. Iceman's aggression finally pays off and awards them a Springtron in the corner, who is able to relatively get out of there, but this switch up from Iceman is definitely helping them. The Chakram is catching Springtron out way more than the Dragon ever did. Again, Springtron at least a little bit thankful that that wasn't a charged shot. That glove just about missed it. Gets the perma-charge up. Grimwood comes in with the rush, gets the connect, 280. Forces that health just about to the halfway mark and keeps up their buff in the process. You see Min playing almost a very different game here. They know that they can play toe-to-toe with the Springtron, but it's getting punished a little bit more here. That grab just immediately shutting down any momentum Iceman had. And now it's the rush of their own, but Grimwood was able to just about block it. And all Iceman could do was a bit of chip damage and nothing more. Does manage to get the shock with the Sparky and the confirmed grab since they were that close. And it's gonna look like if Iceman could just get another punch in, lets Grimwood do the EMP that is gonna have those arms charged. The Dragon is not able to connect. If Iceman can survive for the next 6 seconds, they'll take it, but they can't! Oh, they can't! Grimwood gets the rush! Unfortunately, Min jumped straight into the direction they were flinging it, and Grimwood will take that, and that begins their chance to take this series. It is still early days. That was still just the first point, but Grimwood just on fire there. Just consistently getting those EMPs off, consistently using that buff nature of Springtron once that's activated to dart around, able to catch out that Min. And they did struggle a lot more. They certainly did struggle with that shack run, but towards the end you just felt like it was just a matter of time before Grimwood could force another mistake. It wasn't so much forcing a mistake, it was also predicting where Min was going to jump to. Jumped straight into where they flung the rush, and that was always going to give Grimwood the point. So we are going to be heading to Sparring Ring next. So Scrapyard and Vio were banned. Sparring Ring is the choice. So from the temples to this, from the slightly sloped 4-pillar temple to Springtron's backyard, the Sparring Ring. Grimwood gonna stick with that Springtron. Gonna come in with a Chiller and a Tribolt. Meanwhile, oh my word, it's a mirror match in the space of arms at the very least. Twintel also coming in with a Chiller Tribolt. The only difference then are the characters. And that's going to be a quick grab for Twintel, trying to shut down any momentum that Springtron had and immediately get a quick, successive Tribolt stun. This is going to be a very, very quick match of that, there is no doubt. Both players able to get stuns, both players able to get follow-up grabs. It's really just a case of who can maintain that advantage as Twintel lands another stun grab combo of their own. Not quite able to get the Chiller, but Grimwood wasting that rush, unfortunately, was not able to pick anything apart from Chip. And the Tribolt is enough to take that point away from Springtron. And this is a very interesting match we've got on our hands here. Both are sticking with the same arm loadout. So we're going to both stick with the Tribolt and the Chiller. Arm weak on the right side of Twintel, but just about fades away. It's now weak on the right side of Grimwood, so they'll have to be incredibly careful. Iceman knows that that the way that they're playing is forcing Grimwood into a position where they cannot activate that EMP, which is why they're consistently being caught out here. Yes, they were able to get a couple of quick grabs there onto the Twintel, but Iceman is just using that knowledge to force Grimwood into a position where they cannot have the time to do EMP, especially with nothing to protect them, especially with none of the range available to them. And Grimwood finds themselves in critical condition. Just managed to get the grab on Iceman, but is not going to get anything else. Iceman on an absolute charge in that match and ties up this set 1 apiece. Just like that. That loadout working significantly more for Iceman. Not so much working out more, but literally the case of Iceman was able to keep Springtron from using their main ability. Let's Spring Stadium off there. Why in the world did that come up? So we're just waiting on the bans, Ban, Vio, and Buster, and Grimwood wants to go back to Sparring Ring. So back to Sparring Ring we go. I really hope we're not going to spend the entire Grand Final at Sparring Ring, but if we do, that's the player's choice. It's what they prefer, and that's what we do. So Iceman is ready. I think Grimwood might be making a switch or two. But we will soon find out. They'll need to find a way of dealing with that Twintel, and they believe the best way to do that is with Master Mummy. That will probably be different. Yep, that is definitely a different arm loadout as well. Iceman probably going to go with what worked. No, they're going to come in with a Coolerang, so Tribolt out, Coolerang in. Meanwhile, Grimwood going to come in with a Megawatt and a Nade, and already starting off with a decent amount of damage onto the Iceman. But they'll now have to be careful of that self-destruct potential because of that nade. So if you see it go down, that's exactly what it's about to do. Got an uncharged hit with the Watt, but able to get the follow-up grab. Both training punches. It's Master Mummy who gets frozen a little bit there. So, and with Master Mummy, it's forced into the corner. Iceman is keep themselves on top here. Obviously, a couple of explosions like that might swing the tide, but right now, Iceman has a bit more control over this and comes in with a big time rush, and it's going to shut Master Mummy down immediately. I don't think this pick is working out too well from Grimwood. We'll see if they can adapt in the second point. They're going to come in with double nade here. And is not going to get anything with that rush, I'm afraid. Twintel able to sidestep it with ease. And tried to see if they could play a similar game that they just did, but Grimwood having none of that does manage to get a big time slam dunk. But the most important part here is that Iceman is able to keep this middle area. He's able to keep Master Mummy somewhat in that corner, but Grimwood able to now fight all the way back out of that, and now it's their turn. The tables have turned. We'll see if now Twintail can stand up to it, and, well, very much she can. Immediately grabs the Master Mummy and flings them across the stage. And this is something that Grimwood needs to be careful of. They need to slow this down a little bit because they're trying to fling out punches, and Iceman is just has a grab for it. They have a grab ready and waiting. There's 3 grabs in a row that have connected easily. Gonna get the rush out and nothing else. And Grimwood is just a tap away and flings out the rush without even thinking about it. Gets both arms weak and does take the one on the right down. Big time slam dunk, both on a similar health. But the explosion was not close enough to get anything from it. And in fact, it's going to be the Coolerang that managed to get around and hit. And Iceman takes the second point. Iceman has now put themselves into a position where we could have a reset. Back to sparring ring. Yep, back to sparring ring we go. They are literally banning the same stages. They are literally picking the same stage. So, and once again, Grimwood has switched. Grimwood has switched from Master Mummy this time to Max Brass. Iceman sticking with Twintail. Iceman wants to win this tournament this time round. Can Grimwood stop this momentum? Or will Twintail find a way of forcing a reset and have to do it all over again? Right now, the Tri-Blast and the Nade is coming out from Max Brass, and Iceman using exactly what has been working so far. The Chiller and the Coolerang is just slowing down all of these opponents. Brass is able to get another decent grab, but is consistently being caught out with these chilled hits. They're hoping that the double explosions will help them. Does manage to get a little bit of attack with the blast, but because the Coolerang is able to hit as well, it means that nothing else can happen. Does get a slight knockback on Iceman and connect with a follow-up rush of 330, and also catches the nade mid-rush for Iceman. And this is exactly what Grimwood needed, trying to shift the table completely into their favor. And the explosions, well, it looks like it is the way to go. Takes down Twintail. And we very much have a fight on our hands here if Grimwood can equalize this. You see Iceman now coming in with a tri-bolt. So we're going to go for that stun and cold approach. And so far that's working as well now. Able to punch through the grab, get a couple of stuns, and another one. And sends Max Brass into the corner. Max Brass wasn't quite expecting this change-up and the intensity that Iceman was going to bring to the table with this. And just like that, without even blinking, Iceman has equalized this again. And now we're in a position where Iceman is on reset point. What is Grimwood's answer here? Well, his answer is going to be no more blast. It's going to be a double nade. And again, the explosion of the AoE catches Iceman out. And suddenly Grimwood feels like if they can land a few more explosions like that, they'll take it, but not like that. Twintail is still quite the agile character, was able to easily get away from that rush, stopped it, stunned him, and came in with a grab, make that a chill grab combo this time round, and suddenly the table turns back into Iceman's favor. This is an incredibly close set. Grimwood's nade is shrugged off, but the second one isn't. They are both on similar health, but that's stun, and they'll have to be careful here, because if Grimwood hit with Iceman's next rush, it's going to be over, and here it comes! And that, my friends, is a bracket reset. Oh boy. This has not gone Grimwood's way at all. So, they can't seriously be both going back to sparring immediately. Hold on a sec, guys. You're gonna have to wait for me now, because I'm gonna have to update this. Grand final reset. That is exactly what is happening here. So Grimwood lost that match 3-1. Which means we are resetting this because both have now lost once. So Buster has been banned, Sparring and Mausoleum have been banned, so it's just where we are going to go for our first match. Are we going to go back to Temple Grounds for our first match? So, well, you wanted some hype, you get hype. If you've got friends around and you want to watch them, have them watch something pretty intense, now's your chance, because this is a bracket reset, and it's anyone's game from here. Iceman was able to shut down Grimwood with 3 sparring ring trips in a row. And well, who knows where this is going to go now. So Iceman, still on the left, going to come in with that Chiller and that Tribal, which worked beautifully for them in that previous set. And Grimwood is going to switch again. This time into Min Min, coming out with a Tri-Blast and a Roaster. So playing a very different game as they had done with the Master Mummy and the Brass. And so far, it's once again Iceman who's trying to start the stronger of the two, trying to force Min Min into a situation where they are going to have to try and fight their way out of, which is exactly what Twinto wants to do, because the Bolt will charge in and stun and just a free grab for them immediately, and then you can get the Chill, and if the Chill hits and you're close enough, you're probably going to get a grab from that too, and Grimwood already on the back foot and down. The momentum is completely shifting as Min Min comes in with a slightly different loadout now. I completely forgot to switch to the main screen. I do apologize. And Min Min will land themselves a big time first rush. Gets a stun, gets a second stun, and suddenly it's now turning back. I think Grimwood realized that the Bolt is indeed the way to go. And again, just the satisfying sound the stun makes when it's charged. And Iceman is in critical condition, finally gets a Bolt of their own. They traded for like a split second, but in the end, it goes Twintail's way. And if they can somehow get back from this, having had such a stun spree against them, that'll be incredibly impressive for Iceman here. They forced Min Min back into that corner there, just looking for another blow, but no! Grimwood says no! Wow, wow, wow. And suddenly, it starts to turn. Grimwood backed into a corner, but able to fight out for dear life. But it was incredibly close again. Iceman going to switch that Tribal out at last and go in for the Coolerang. And going to punish Grimwood for an overuse of that shield. Grimwood going to stick with exactly what worked, but you sense that Iceman has an answer for everything at this point. And once again, trying to force that Min Min into a mistake. There's only one pillar left for them to bounce around. And just was not quick enough on the rush. Min Min. Wait, what happened? Did Min Min use rush? Did Min Min use rush? What? What? Min Min, why? Why did you do that? How did you do that? Somehow, in all of that, Min Min activated rush at the end of Twintail's rush and went down. Was that a misinput? What happened there? Well, in either case, Iceman starts with the first point. That was just one of those things. And we're getting a mirror match. We are getting a mirror match in here. Not with the same loadout, thankfully. But it's Twintail versus Twintail. Grimwood in the yellow. Gonna come in with that Roaster and a Tri-Blast. Iceman gonna stick with, well, what's been working for the entire tournament so far, really. That Coolerang and that Chiller living up to the name of Ice, naturally. Gonna have that arm weak on the right-hand side. Grimwood needs to be very careful. This pressure from Iceman is just too much for them at the moment. Finally gets a grab. So I'll cool that off just a little bit. But boy, oh boy, is this gonna be a very quick match. And again, that arm weak on the right side is only able to block so much of that before it finally goes down. The shield breaks, 105 in the end, and Grimwood placed that rush beautifully. Iceman came straight up and temporarily forgot about that rush. Took all of that straight to the face. Grab slowed down and stopped. And that's the thing about seeing double Twintail. You'll see a lot of slowdowns here. If both of them could activate it, they both did a synchronized slowdown. Gotta love to see it. And the Chiller pressure is just still too much for Grimwood as they fall down again. What are they going to switch to now? No, they're not going to switch. They're going to stick with the Tri-Blast and the Roaster, feeling that it is the better of the two of the combination. And again, caught out by that grab. Grimwood able to at least fling out with a pretty decent rush. But you feel like Iceman's pressure is still just a little too much. The Tri-Blast does hit, but it's not charged, so it won't do anything more than just allow Iceman to shrug it off. Finally get a good shot with the Roaster, and suddenly the pressure is slowly turning. Iceman now needs to slow this down just a little bit, because Grimwood is finally finding a way around Iceman's playstyle. The Chiller not quite landing its blows. The Coolerang is just a little short. The grab just about missing. If that did connect, that'd do it. But at least the Tri-Blast will do it anyway, and that's one apiece. So Grimwood is still fighting tooth and nail here. And he's going to stick with what worked and jump straight over one arm. And with one arm down from Iceman, that was going to be a rush that would have connected no matter what happened. Iceman switching up things, going for all that Tri-Bolt. But again, that slowdown for Grimwood, who remember both Twintails now have it. But you are not going to slow down that rush, I'm afraid. Takes 240 to the face, but Grimwood is still in a decent position here. They still have health lead, but we've seen Iceman turn this around before, so it's never over till it's over. Grimwood gets a nice grab. KO range potentially here for Grimwood if they can land something from it, but no, not going to happen. Chip damage and nothing more. Arm weak on that right side if they want to try and keep up this pressure. And punches Iceman square in the face. A grab or another tap will do it. And at this stage, you kind of need it. And finally gets it. It looked like it was starting to finally swing away from Grimwood, but they finally found a way through. Switching to Twintail, it clearly worked. They managed to finally piece together what Iceman's strategy is here and finally get that equalizing point that they needed. Yep, we're going straight back to sparring ring. It's no longer a unpredictability thing. It's literally we're going back to sparring ring. We are gonna see what both of these players are gonna do here. Since we just saw a Twintail mirror, it's not going to be the same this time around. Iceman finally switching. Iceman switches to Ribbon Girl. And a very different loadout with that as well. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Iceman going to come in with a nade and a Tri-Blast, so going all explosives or nothing. And Grimwood going to come in with that Chakram and the Roaster. So Iceman looking to use that added mobility that Ribbon Girl delivers to try and outspeed Twintail and use these heavier arms to get in on it. But Grimwood so far is shutting this down in every sense of the word. Finally gets knocked back with that nade, and the Tri-Blast keeps them down as well. And we're just about able to slow down a couple of these arms, but isn't able to slow down them all, and these explosions are absolutely rocking Grimwood here. And that's the best thing with the Tri-Blast. If it hits and it's charged, it'll hit once and then hit again with the explosion, which is why you generally see a fair amount of damage coming through from it. Twintail with a unfortunate moment, taking a lot of that rush from Ribbon Girl. Not completely out of it yet though, as comes in with a rush of their own. Make that 345. One more tap on Ribbon Girl will do it, but it's not gonna happen. Instead, it's against Twintail. And just as that momentum started to build on her side, Iceman and Ribbon say no thank you. But again, they start with taking the first point of damage in the match. And that's what you've got to be careful of with Ribbon Girl. She's supposed to be like this. She's incredibly quick. That is literally her MO. And Grimwood is facing a bit of a dilemma here. The Tri-Blast and the Roaster, it does work, but the nade is working better at this point in time. The rush finally coming out. Ribbon Girl gets sent all the way back to the corner, but Iceman is not out of this yet. They have the rush and have got Grimwood down into a critical condition. If they can hit in a solid rush here, that would be a KO, and it's exactly what it's going to be. Well. Here we are again. It's 2-1. It's 2-1 in the grand final reset. Alright, what's happening here? There's some... Nope, are we... So we're going to spawn again? Yep, that will go to spawn again. Is it? Or hang on a sec, what's going on here? It's Temple Grounds. We're going to Temple Grounds. Okay. So a slight bit of confusion in the Discord chat there. Do apologise. That's just sometimes how it goes. Yeah, we are going to... Here we go. And I like the fact that Pineapple goes, does Grimwood still use Cobra in tournaments? This is your answer! Grimwood is coming out with Kid Cobra. Gonna come in with the clapback and the popper. Iceman gonna stick with Ribbon Girl coming in with the nade and the Slappermander. And this is all to play for Grimwood here. If they lose, then Iceman has the ultimate revenge and wins the tournament. And so far, dancing around the usual shenanigans of these pillars. One does go down, as Grimwood tries to get themselves into a little bit more of a position. Catches Ribbon Girl with the popper, sends her down for a little bit. The clapback isn't really helping Grimwood too much here, as the Slapperman is just consistently swinging around it. That's going to be 180, nothing more than that, so it doesn't quite send Grim into critical. But now it does, and Grimwood has a lot to do here. Just managed to get a little bit of a tap, but so far Iceman is fine with this. They have a very big health lead as we enter the 40-second mark, and again another knockdown with that slap. The clapback is just not helping Cobra at all here. You see Cobra jumping all the way back, but finally succumbs to the aggression that Ribbon Girl is flinging in. And one more point here for Iceman will land Iceman with the victory. And Grimwood gonna switch up, drops the clapback, comes in with the shack ramp, keep that prepper at the very least. Iceman gonna stick with their guns and gets rushed and sent backwards. Not as much damage as Grim would have probably liked, but it's damage nonetheless. They go into the corner, catches Ribbon as they tried to come forward, and again catches them out with another shot. But that rush was well placed there for Ribbon. 280 puts them on their way to hope to potentially winning this championship. Remember, this is championship point right now for Iceman, if they can secure that second point. But they've got to find a way through a much more aggressive Cobra than we saw in that first point. So far, these next few punches are just not quite landed for Ribbon. The explosion at least hit, so it'll give them rush, and Grimwood will need to get away from that, and does so! The Chakram pops them down and cancels it completely. Rush confirms. It's not quite the KO though. With 30 seconds to go, they still need another hit. And if Iceman can land another one like that, it's not gonna happen, thankfully. Cobra will at least get another chance. But they are still looking, they're still facing in the barrel of that championship point on Iceman. And interesting decision for Grimwood here. All the pillars are down, and now he decides to go back to clapback, which is an interesting decision since Iceman has gone Tri-Blast and Slapperman, so that slap will still get around it. So Grim is hoping to get the hits that they need with the popper and maybe retaliate some of the Tri-Blast with the clap, but we're going to see how this plays out. So far it's working for them. They've got Iceman past half health. Both have rush available. So if Grimwood can keep up this strategy here, they might have a chance. To slap again, gets round that clap and gives Grimwood a little tap, but Iceman almost in critical condition here. You feel like if Grim can fling out a rush, they're going to do so if they get the opportunity, as the explosions are just a little too high for Ribbon. They're not doing anything, as another little tap from that popper and another one. Iceman in an absolute ways does manage to get the rush in. That's solid 300 damage, but they've still got a ways to go, and a rush comes out from Grim, and beautifully predicted. We are on match 5 in the reset. Grimwood activated rush. Iceman knew that they had to move. They jumped to the right, and Grimwood held on with the actual attack before finally going on the same direction as Iceman. We are going to match 5 in the bracket reset. And this is anyone's to play for now. This is anyone's to play for. Grimwood is banning Sparring Ring and Fire Dolls. On top of which, Grimwood has announced that they will be switching to Ribbon Girl. So Iceman has to use this wisely here. At least we're not going to Sparring again. We'll be ending this tournament on Mausoleum. We know Grimwood is going to go Ribbon. Will Iceman switch? And if so, who to? Back to Twintel. It is Twintel versus Ribbon Girl in the final match. Winner takes all. Iceman coming in with a Hydra and a Coolerang. Grimwood coming in with the Tri-Bolt and the Toaster. As we get this fight underway, and it's Grimwood who takes that first hit. So you know exactly what that Hydra is there for. It's there to stop Ribbon's mobility, to stop her jumping so much in the air. But you've got to have some good reads to go along with it, and that Coolerang will help slow her down as well. Meanwhile, Grimwood is just literally looking for any and all stun that they could throw Iceman's way. Arm was weak on that left side and now completely down, leaving them defenseless against Iceman's upcoming rush. 370. There was nothing they could have done, but crucially for Grimwood does get exactly what they were looking for. A stun and a quick grab confirmed, but sees themselves in critical condition, and another punch from that Coolerang, just about able to drop the Hydra, but cannot afford to take another hit, so they'll have to be very careful of that Coolerang. Just about avoids the Hydra, and the Coolerang, which is a little too far for them to properly take advantage of, gets the stun and a follow-up Toaster. They weren't really close enough to go for the grab. Both with rush. That was a bad idea. That was a bad idea from Grim. Went for the rush and Twin Toe was not only still up, but was able to easily move out the way with that. And it's championship point for Iceman. As Grimwood goes down to another solid hit from that Hydra. Both coming in with the same arm loadout, so Grimwood believes that this can work. But they need to be able to get around that Hydra, which so far in this point, they're just consistently running into. Does finally get the stun, but could not get the follow-up with the toast. Gets another one, and that second toast does land. The follow-up grab did not. Blocks both of the Coolerang and the Hydra as an arm goes down, but they could not take full advantage of it. And with Iceman having rushed, you just feel like it's a little bit of fear, like Grimwood knew that if they fully committed that would be over. And the wind just about caught Grimwood. I thought it missed them completely, but no, the wind clipped them at the end of the cycle. That was unfortunate for Grimwood as they find themselves in critical condition, and Iceman with just about half health. So they've got a ways to go if Grimwood wants to come back into this. Comes in with the rush, does hit with the bolt first. 240, arm fades away and gets a bolt and a grab. Is that a KO? It is! It is a KO! Grimwood needed that badly. Oh boy. Final point, everyone. Final point in the reset. Now it is winner takes all. Iceman has a slight lead on their rush build. Grimwood has to recharge it all the way from scratch, but you know this is going to be intense. Both are sticking with the same arm loadout this entire set. Iceman will start with the first rush of this point, but Grimwood able to at least block the rest of it, so not so bad in the end, but it is a pretty big health lead here for Iceman. Almost 100% versus 50, make that less now. Ribbon knows they need to play a little bit more aggressive, does get the stun and does get the grab. Now they need to get a little bit more luck in their favor here. If they can get another couple stuns like that, that would be great. But crucially, Iceman almost has rush, and here comes one from Grimwood that'll set them off on relative equal health here. But Iceman crucially has a rush on hand, and Grimwood is in critical condition and is not able to block the rush. Iceman gets the rush, that gets the KO, that gives Iceman ultimate revenge. It finishes 3-2 in the bracket reset, and having lost to Iceman in winners final 3-2, they managed to come back and beat Junior 3-1. They managed to force the reset by winning 3-1, and then they finally beat Grimwood in a very, very close 3-2 best of 5 reset final. What a match. What a tournament. Oh my word. Well, what a way to end that. So Iceman improves from last week's performance, goes from second to first place in the EU Arms Challenge series. And we have two very different second and third places this time round, as Riffa obviously dropped out and Okrim did not make it. I don't think Okrim made it into top 4. No, Okrim did not make it into top 4. So second place goes to Grimwood and third place goes to Junior. Fourth place went to Yam in the end. Congratulations to our top 3. Congratulations to everyone who took part. It has been an amazing tournament. I hope you've all had a lot of fun. Oh, wow. If you liked everything you saw today, all of our social media, all of the ways that you can find us are just down below there. We've got our Twitter. We've got our YouTube. Obviously, you're here on Twitch anyway. And you've got our Discord, which is in the description. So hopefully, if you want to see more of this, or if you want to get involved yourself, use those links and we'll be able to give you all of the updates, as much information as possible. And hopefully you'll be looking forward to our next sessions as well. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have all had a brilliant time. I certainly have been. I have been your commentator, Tameshi Kanjo. And that is this girl signing off. Take care, everyone, and stay fresh.